Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me for my unboxing of Resident Evil 2, the board game by Steamforged Games. I'm really excited to get this going, so let's jump in.
This just arrived for me today. Luckily enough, I wasn't at work when this came. I was home to get it at the door, and I am so excited to break in and get this video going, let you guys see what all the hype is about, because this is a great game, I think. Here we had a little insert from the company responsible for fulfillment in the US, that is Quartermaster Logistics. Topping off the box, we have the Kickstarter exclusive Sculpts, the B Files expansion, the Survival Horror expansion, and just a reminder, this is the basic Kickstarter pledge. Last but not least, ta-da! The core box for Resident Evil 2, the board game. Let's take a closer look. Here we have the core game for Resident Evil 2, the board game. And here we have the disclosure, I guess you could call it, that most people will recognize from old school survival horror games such as Resident Evil. Here we have the full rulebook, which is available as a PDF through the Steamforged Games website. Next we have the scenario booklet, which will show you how to set up and survive each encounter. We'll give you a list of enemies and tension cards needed, color-coded for your encounter table. In the back we have the campaign tracker as well as the S rank completion. Now we get into the juicy parts. Here we have some of the tiles as well as stairs and doors. They are double-sided. Some of them are duplicates, but there are some variety, some differences. So we have a couple of duplicates here. And I've heard a lot of people saying these are pretty dark. These are actually not that bad. I like them. We're getting into some new stuff here. We have more doors. We have our item box, some health tokens or health trackers, typewriters, and walls, as well as the boss tracker. Let's see. Here we have the corpse markers, item tokens, and health tracks for the players, as well as status tokens, ammo dials, more doors, wound markers for the enemies, and the G Imago tokens. And here we have a duplicate giving you more of each. Some ink ribbons there. And now on to the good stuff. This is what everyone wants to see right here. So first thing, we have our dice, which we'll be using to determine whether we damage the enemy or if we can evade their attacks, as well as the encounter dice. We have some holders, pop rings for the ammo dials. If we can get these out of here. Got the cards here that will make up our tension deck, boss behavior cards, the player cards that'll let you know what their special abilities are, what your weapon proficiencies are. Let's see. On the back of our tension deck cards, you have the classic door opening sequence, familiar to anyone that's played any of the original Resident Evils. We have our player cards, Leon Kennedy here. See, we have an all clear, your green tension, Echoes in the Darkness, Undead Ambush, representing your yellow and amber tension cards. And over here, we have your starting equipment, as well as the cards that will make up your item deck A, item deck B. You got your handguns, knives, some ammo, a green herb, key for a locked door, which you're gonna have to backtrack and search everywhere just to find the items. So let's get into what you all came to see. First up, we have Leon S. Kennedy, rookie police officer with his first day in Raccoon City. He has an evade of 2 dice and an inventory size of 8. He can use the handgun, shotgun, and magnum. Second on our list is Claire Redfield, who recently arrived in Raccoon City in search of her brother, Chris Redfield. She also has an evade of 2 dice and an inventory size of 8. She's proficient with the handgun, the bowgun, and the grenade launcher. Next on our list is everyone's favorite mysterious woman in red, Ada Wong. She has an evade of 2, inventory size of 6, and can use the handgun, bowgun, and magnum. Finally on our list of survivors is the ever-favorite gun shop owner Robert Kendo, who is very unlucky to say the least in the game. He only has a 1 evade dice with an inventory size of 6. He can use the handgun, the shotgun, and the grenade launcher. First up on our list of enemies is everyone's favorite, the zombie. The zombie models can also double towards the later scenarios for the modified zombies. Next up we have our zombie dogs, or Cerberus, as some people call them. These guys are vicious. I would not want to get stuck in a hallway with a couple of these guys. Last but not least, everyone's biggest concern, the Licker and the Evolved Licker. These guys are quick and deadly. Now on to our bosses, starting with the G-Mutant. This guy initially started very small and burst out of the chest of Ben Bertolucci in the game. He can create small little spawn that will crawl onto the players and eat them. Dangerous. Next up, William Birkin, the big baddie himself. This guy is terrifying and huge compared to the other models. I can at least say that it's going to take a lot to bring him down. Moving on to the B-Files expansion. Get this one cut open, and on the back you can see some of the included material as well as a brief description of the expansion itself. Let's get these out of the way and let's go ahead and crack into this. It's a little more stubborn to open than the core box. Here we go. Alright, so first off we have the rule booklet, which also doubles as the scenario booklet, so you know how to set up each encounter and descriptions of what your objectives are and how to survive. The B-Files also includes some new tiles and doors, as well as, I believe this is the exploded helicopter, which you will use to, or need to use the C4 on. I'm sorry. This one looks like it's popped out in transit. Some more tiles, looks like corpse markers, stairs. There's a new effect token, and this one I'm not sure what it is. But the meat of the box, what everyone really wants to see, is these miniatures. We also got some new boss cards, some behavior cards, tension deck cards, and item cards. As I get all this tape off of here, we'll go ahead and see what's all available to us. go. All right. So, first off, liquor's out of place. There we go. We have the new item deck. Boy, these are really stuck in there. Nice baggy, easy to open. So, looks like we have some new locked key cards. Some more item deck A and B cards. There's another shotgun, so I'm not sure if we're going to have two shotguns or not. We have the unicorn metal card here. So there's some new items, new tokens. Not sure. It would be awesome if you could have two shotguns at once, but let's go ahead and get into these new tension deck boss cards. Oh, that's not a peel open pack. Cut in here and hope I don't damage some of the cards. There we go. So let's see what we have here. As with the core files, you can see here we have the typical door opening sequence from the original game. Oh, here we have the T00, or as most people know him, Mr. X, and his evolved or boss form, the T103 Tyrant. Put these back in, and now we can move on to some close-up and impersonal miniatures. So here we have some new models or additional models for our typical zombies and or modified zombies in the later scenarios. Slow, persistent, but deadly in groups. Here we have some newer liquor models, which, just like the base set, can double as the evolved liquors. And these guys are persistent, extremely deadly. First up in our bosses category is the T00 Tyrant, also known as Mr. X. He is extremely persistent and will be following you, stalking you through many of the scenarios here in the B files. You will also come up against him as a boss battle in close quarters in the later scenarios. And we all know once you take out the T103 Tyrant, or the T00 Tyrant, he mutates into the T103 Tyrant, who is extremely vicious. He has attacks and abilities that can kill you in one shot, and the rocket launcher will take him down. And here we have the Survival Horror expansion. Let's go ahead and dig in, see what this one has to offer us. Okay, on the back here you can see a picture of the contents included in the box. Another stubborn box. There we go. Okay, once again we have the rules booklet, which will tell you how to unlock each of the additional playable characters, as well as where to insert the additional enemies, as well as scenarios for the player versus player aspect of the game, which is introduced in this expansion. The miniatures and the new cards. Get all this tape off here. This one's even more stubborn than the last. There's one. And let's get this other one. Two down. Okay. really in there. There we go. Once again, the item deck comes with a nice little easy to open baggie. Okay, and then the expansion here, we have some new items. Some of them are player versus player specific, such as the G-Virus sample. We have a flamethrower, which can deal extra damage to certain enemies. Gatling gun. Pop those back in, and let's go ahead and take a look at the new tension deck. Ooh, that's different. That must be the trap deck for the player versus player scenarios when you're playing as Chief Brian Irons. Got some new enemy cards here. Advanced versions of Claire and Leon. More player cards. We got some additional tension cards. Some of them are player versus player specific as well as hard mode. And then we have the trap deck, which Chief Irons can play at certain specific points in the game to possibly hinder our heroes. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the miniatures. Okay, the first of our new player characters is Marvin Branagh, who unfortunately becomes zombified in the original game. He has the ability to be saved this time around, and then you can unlock him as a playable character. Next we have Brad Vickers, Alpha Team pilot who flew the helicopter in the first Resident Evil and met his grisly end at the hands of the Nemesis boss in Resident Evil 3. Ben Bertolucci is our next survivor, who is an investigative reporter who's looking into the corruption of the Raccoon City Police Department all the way up to the chief, and he's trying to bring down Umbrella for their bioweapons experimentation. Next we have Annette Birkin, one of the scientists working for Umbrella on the G-Virus. Her husband William Birkin was the primary scientist, and we'll get to him later. Next we have Sherry Birkin, daughter of Annette Birkin. She is just lost in a city full of zombies trying to stay alive. Claire helps her find her way out of the city in the game. Let's see if you can do the same in the board game. Here we have the first of our player versus player characters, Chief Brian Irons. He has a trap deck that he can use to attempt to hinder our players as they try to stop him and end the corruption in Raccoon City. Next we have William Birkin, father of Sherry Birkin, husband to Annette Birkin, and Umbrella scientist who created the G-Virus. If you don't stop him soon enough, he will transform into his monstrous form. This expansion introduces a couple of additional mini-bosses, such as zombified Marvin Branagh, who, if you can successfully manage to save him instead of kill him in Scenario 3A, you can then unlock him as a playable character. Next up we have Zombie Brad Vickers, who anyone who played the original game will instantly recognize and know how to unlock him. It's the same requirements as the original game, so if you don't know, look into that. And our additional enemies. First we have the spiders. Spiders have been an integral part of most Resident Evil games, and they are no less so here. They are poisonous and can force you to use those blue herbs. Next we have the Ivy and Poison Ivy variant. These guys are not very quick, they don't move around a lot, but they can reach out and grab you, and they can really put a hurt on our player characters. And last but not least, we have the Kickstarter exclusive sculpts. I know the box here looks kind of boring. The only reason that is because this is an exclusive item for the Kickstarter backers. It will not be available at retail, so they really didn't go all out for the packaging. Let's see what we get. Alright, we have no new tiles or booklets, it's all new miniatures. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at these. First up, we have 3 alternate sculpts for Leon S. Kennedy. They can be used with his normal profile card or his advanced profile card, which you can unlock through the Survival Horror expansion. Second on our list of alternate sculpts is Claire Redfield. Again, same as with Leon, her alternate costumes can be used with her normal profile card or her advanced card through the Survival Horror. And then we have, once again, the mysterious Ada Wong. This time she is toting a bow gun. Unfortunately, Ada does not have an advanced counterpart, so this is just a cosmetic look change for Ada. Also, another cosmetic-only change is Robert Kendo. This time he's walking around with a magnum in hand, ready to take down some zombies, hopefully with some headshots, thanks to his marksman ability. And for our enemies, we have a load of alternate zombie poses and looks, from the fully dressed cop to rotting corpses that can be used for regular or modified zombies. And then we have our flaming as well as crawling zombies. The one on the right is quite gruesome. He has his entrails hanging out, which I can't wait to paint that one and see what it looks like in game. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and like the video. Also, go ahead and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the new content that's going to be coming out, as well as live playthroughs of Resident Evil 2, the board game.